How's it, guys? Roy Obi from TreasuryONE Motorsport. We don't have a hell of a lot to report today because, as I said in the video yesterday, we went through all our scrutineering yesterday. The car was cleared, we were all ready to race. Today we're just checking, doing all last minute checks, double checks to see everything's right. But due to the number of cars that are entered into the Dakar, there's 2 full days of scrutineering. So half the cars were scrutineered yesterday. Luckily we got into that, and today there's still the other half of the field are being scrutinized. So it's still very busy in the scrutineering area. There's cars in and out and queues of cars. A little bit earlier, the Audis, those e-tron Audis came past. The Minis were here earlier on, and I saw the Overdrive Toyota guys were also getting their cars all done. So still, from an organizational point of view, still a very busy day. Then obviously tomorrow we've got the prologue, so that I'll just explain. I don't know if I did explain it, but basically what happens, it's about a 25k loop. We start 58, the number's 258, so we start 58 in the ultimate class. The cars are only spaced 1 minute apart, and so every minute a car goes. Obviously there's faster cars in the front, and then you sort of place, because we were in 2018 and we've had another Dakar under our belt, we sort of mid-packish there or whatever with the number of vehicles there. But that sets the starting order for all the guys for Saturday morning. But with the fact that there's only a minute between the cars, and there's also going to be a lot of dust, and if you start on the grid here, I mean, you've got two, where you're starting, it doesn't have a real bearing on your overall race, because you're going to be racing for 2 weeks. So if we start 45th or 65th, it's really not going to make a big difference in our lives by the end of 2 weeks. So we're just going to go cautious. There's going to be a lot of dust. The cars are tightly together, so we don't take chances sort of overtaking things just to make up 1 or 2 places for Saturday morning. Okay, so the other thing is that I've noticed, I was obviously at the Dakar in 2018, and the size of the classes it's exploded. I don't know how many cars there were in 2018, but I mean, there's now like 430 odd entries. There's about 140 cars and side by sides, so the cars, I think there's 70 odd of us, and then in the side by sides there's 2 classes. There's a standard class, and then there's a full modified class. That's a class I showed in the video as well, at the scrutineering video. So that's become popular, I think, from a cost perspective, but it means that the number of entries has increased hugely. The other thing is, what's quite lacquer is I think it's been running for the last couple of years. They've got a classic class, and that's all the old Dakar stuff. So there's a whole lot of those old Mitsubishi Pajeros and the like. This actually, I think it's I hope it's a replica Porsche 959. I saw a 924. There's a Porsche 944. So there are a couple of old Ladas, a couple of old Renaults, and quite a lot of old Land Cruisers. So they do a slightly less arduous route than us, and it's based on time, and they get a penalty for not meeting their time. So they don't race flat out, obviously, because they've got to look after these old cars. But that also has increased in number. So I think there's 60 odd cars there, and then there's about 14 trucks. So also quite a lot of quite a lot of competitors there, and that obviously increases the size of the field and the logistics and all that kind of stuff. So what I'll do is, when it cools down a little bit, I'll just take my camera and stroll up the pits and see if I can get a bit of footage of some of the classic cars while things are a little bit quiet here. Okay guys, ciao.